When you're buying a bike, it can be really confusing and be easy to get lost in the minutia of what brand of bike you should get, what material it should be made out of, how much it should weigh, how many gears it has, what it looks like, and probably most importantly, how much it costs. While all of these factors are important for your bike purchasing process, it's not the most important thing when buying a bike. Really, the only thing that matters when you're buying a bike is, does it inspire you to ride it? Is it fun for you to ride? Speaking of bikes that are fun to ride, this video is sponsored by Wabi Cycles. Wabis are the most fun bikes I've ever ridden. They inspire me to ride my bike every day and to reap all the benefits of cycling just because it's one of the best parts of my day. Stick around to the end of the video to learn more about what makes Wabi Cycles so dang fun to ride. Cycling is an incredibly special gift because there's not a lot of things in the world that are incredibly fun to do, can help you achieve your goals of getting stronger and losing weight, saves you money, allows you to become mentally tougher and redefine what's possible for yourself. It's easy to do every day. It puts you in a better mood every day, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of money after you have a bike already. But to reap all those amazing benefits of cycling, you need to actually ride your bike. It's not enough to just own a bike. And you need to ask yourself, why do you ride bikes in the first place? Most of us start riding bikes as kids just because it's fun. And that's the really amazing thing about cycling, is that it's so incredibly good for you, and it's also so freaking fun, whether you're doing it alone or with friends, whether you're riding slow or riding fast. At the end of the day, it's just plain fun. And the more fun that your bike can be for you, the more you'll ride it and the more benefits you'll get from cycling. A lot of bike reviewers, including myself, like to pick apart the tiny little details of every single bike and really evaluate what makes a bike fun or not. But at the end of the day, bikes are fun regardless of whether it's, you know, a top tier dream spec fixed gear bike, a pretty basic mountain bike, or your cheapest Walmart bike. Look, I started riding my bike in 2012, and I started riding my bike to school just so I could have more independence. And this Cannondale F300 was actually one of the first nice bikes that my family got. Nice bikes as in not a Walmart bike for kids. I started riding this bike along with a silver Specialized Hard Rock, which is even more basic than this bike, to school 3 days a week, and had a great time. Even though these bikes are about 3 sizes too small for me, it doesn't even shift to all the gears. Even after all of these years, I've yet to fix that problem, and the brakes are incredibly squeaky and sound like a trumpet. And of course, now that I'm trying to get the brakes to squeak, they're not doing it. But this is the bike that I started riding on, and even though it's suboptimal because I was just commuting, and this is a big old honking mountain bike, it's very poorly maintained. Just because it was so fun for me to ride, this is what got me into cycling. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, if you're commuting, you need to have a commuter bike or a hybrid bike or a road bike or whatever. And your bike needs to fit you to a T, because fit is the most important thing when it comes to a bike. But I remember when I first started riding, I was just happy to have any bike that went. And that was way more fun. Especially if you're just starting out riding, it's super important to define what's fun for you. You might be in the position that I was like 12 years ago or so, where it's just any bike that goes is fun. And if that will get you riding, great. Get a bike, ride it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit. It doesn't matter if it's not optimal. It doesn't matter if it weighs 30 pounds and costs $50. Ride it. And then through experience with that bike, you will learn what you want and don't want out of a bike. Then you can learn what type of bike that you want for the type of riding that you'll be doing. Then figure out how to get a bike that would fit you, because a bike is basically like a suit. There's a lot of different changes in the dimensions, like the top tube or the stem or the seat post height. All of this stuff that you will learn if you are just starting out. And I've even made this whole playlist about how to get a good fit on your bike. Because yes, fit is extremely important to how much fun that you'll be having on your bike. The better a bike fits you, the less pain you'll have, the faster you'll be able to go, and the less injuries you'll have. It's just more fun. And you might even start to develop some tastes that make the bike more fun for you, like Does the bike look cool in your eyes? And this is actually extremely important. Does just looking at your bike inspire you to ride it? Does it feel really good to ride? And does it just have that extra special sauce that excites you? And of course, we could go on forever about talking about what we like about bikes, but be sure to make a list about what are some things that you absolutely need in your bike and what are some things that are nice to have. And try to find a bike within your budget that checks all the boxes in your must-haves and checks some of the boxes in your nice to have. For me, my must-have, it has to be a fixed gear. It should fit me, 58 centimeter about. Is that really it? Yeah, those are my must-haves. And then my nice-to-haves would be that it's made out of a lightweight steel, just because that's what I prefer as a rider. Has clearance for 32C tires or bigger, is purple, and built up with parts that give me Fixie points that make me happy and are pretty. And your list of must-haves and nice-to-haves would probably look very different than mine, and that's the beautiful thing about biking, because we each have our own personal taste, and what's fun for you may not necessarily be fun for me, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, your bike should be fun to ride, and it should inspire you to ride with how much fun it is. It doesn't matter if it's fast, it doesn't matter if it weighs 20 pounds and under, it doesn't matter what material it's made out of, it doesn't matter whose name is on the head tube. All that matters is that it's fun and it inspires you to ride so that you can actually reap the benefits of riding your bike. Back in 2017, when I was in Taiwan, I was riding with a roadie about 15 miles, and we were cruising about 17, 18 miles an hour, just a conversational pace. And he asked me, Zach, you're fit enough to ride with the clubs. Why don't you go join one of them and ride with more competitive and faster cyclists? And I told him that me being fast is a byproduct of me just having fun on my bike. I ride my bike so much because it's so fun, and as a side effect of that, I am fast. Fast and bragging rights and Strava achievements, that's not the goal of me riding my bike. My goal on my bike is to have fun, and me being really fit, looking good, reasonably fast, those are all side effects to me just having fun on my bike. So ask yourself, what makes biking fun for you? Is it the social aspect of being able to go out and have a good time with your friends? Is it just the pure feeling of riding a bike and how it makes you feel like a kid again? Or is it the aspect of getting faster and challenging yourself and becoming the best biker and mentally the best person that you can be? After you've figured out what makes biking fun for you, go find a bike that will help you do that kind of riding. How fast do you want to go? How far do you want to go? Do you want to do it with friends or do you want to do it alone? Do you want to go to work? How much stuff do you want to carry? These are all important questions that you need to ask before you buy yourself a bike. This Giant is my mom's bike. I wouldn't choose this bike for myself, but this is what my mom chose for herself because it was less than $200 and has a step-through frame and fits her reasonably well. And it's something that she can ride around the neighborhood on a nice spring day. It's going to be different for everybody, and if you Google best bike under $1,000 or $500 or whatever your budget is, you're going to get extremely different answers because there is no best bike. What's best for me isn't best for you. Look, I am well aware of the fact that this is totally going to sound like, oh, boo-hoo, first world YouTuber problem. It is a mild annoyance for me. I am super thankful that I have the opportunity to review all these wonderful bikes at no cost to me other than my time, and that I have the opportunity to just try things out that nobody else really gets to try out. And I am well aware of the fact that I have ridden more bikes than most people on this planet. But I also don't really love doing bike reviews, even though these bikes are amazing. And I like riding them. It's just that I don't like riding them as much as I like riding my bike. So whenever I'm reviewing a bike, as great as it may be, nothing compares to my own personal bike. And when I'm reviewing a bike, it just makes cycling a little bit less fun because this is the most fun bike that I've ridden. And I know that because I have a lot of experience riding a bunch of different bikes. And if you're just trying to go out either online or in a bike shop and find a bike that you would like to ride and that inspires you to ride and is fun to ride, remember that it's extremely personal. I really highly recommend that you visit a local bike shop so you can actually throw a leg over a bike, see how it feels to ride, and see if you vibe with it, because there are just some things that won't come out in a spec sheet or in a YouTube review. And although bike shops, they can be a little bit more expensive than ordering the same bike online, they provide incredible experience. That experience that you can have test riding that bike, that is invaluable and will totally streamline your bike buying process if you can just try it out, or even if you could just see it in person. And the more time that you can spend on a bike and the more different types of bikes that you can test ride, the better you'll be able to figure out what inspires you to ride so that you can figure out what bike is right for you and really reap the benefits of biking. Speaking of reaping the benefits of biking, this video is sponsored by Wabi Cycles. My Wabi Special is the most fun bike that I've ever ridden. The way Wabi's bikes are designed is very holistic. They look at every single thing to make sure that it gives you the best ride quality for your money as possible. Wabi's fixed gear and single speed bikes are constructed with a mostly road-like geometry that's slightly more aggressive for the preferences of us fixed gear riders, because most of us that are buying fixed gear bikes are riding them on the street anyway. And they help to bring the ride quality to life with very lively, supple Reynolds 725 or Columbus Spirit tubing. The way that these tube sets flex, they plane really nicely where it feels like the bike is giving in, it's pliable, but still springing back and giving you a responsive ride quality. Because it is steel, it's durable, it can take a beating, it can be locked up, it can be crashed. I have crashed these multiple times before, and they're totally fine. It's the most fun, most reliable daily bike that I've ever ridden. If you're interested in getting one for yourself, be sure to check out Wabi Cycles, linked in the description. And Fixie famous shoutouts to David K, Salvador Lombroso, Julian Corona, Brandon Black, Brent David, Mario Perez, Ted Onchi, and Brakeless for helping to make these fixed gear videos possible through their support on Patreon. And remember that life is short, but don't make it shorter. So be sure to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous.